Okay, these are live images. Prime Minister Narendra Modi there at the Bharat Mandapam. First images of the Prime Minister arriving at the Bharat Mandapam. He's flanked by Dr. Jaishankar, India's External Affairs Minister, the official from the Prime Minister's office who's from the MEA with him there as well. They're getting set for the guests to arrive. So he's chosen a white kurta and a bandi. That's the Nataraj statue where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be welcoming all the guests who will start arriving from 9:20 p.m. onwards. These images playing out first from the Bharat Mandapam here on India Today. First images of the Prime Minister, the first images of the preparations. We've been here a few times in the build-up to the G20. It's a very swanky facility, especially given how rundown Pragati Maidan had become. It really is a very nicely, tastefully, aesthetically designed facility that's been set up for this G20 conference. He's been pushing himself hard, Shiv, when it comes to the schedule he's maintaining. Just imagine going off to Jakarta for that ASEAN summit, coming back the same day, then getting set to host all these leaders. And then he has that special session of Parliament starting the 18th of September. So he's on a constant treadmill.
No weekends for us, definitely no weekends for the Prime Minister. 15 bilaterals over, a day and a half, which is itself a big deal. In addition to all the proceedings at the G20, playing host, nothing of this scale, in India ever before. Rahul, obviously the Prime Minister has an amazing team, executing this on the ground, and you've been there firsthand to have a look at how this is actually unfolding. But the nitty-gritties, the details which really matter, the small things which could easily derail something of this scale, all of that being taken care of in real time is really something to see, Rahul. And like you said, right after the G20, the special session of Parliament looms, so no rest even after G20.
So we saw Ajit Doval there, India's National Security Advisor. We saw Dr. Hiren Joshi, who handles communications for the Prime Minister, Dr. Jaishankar. That is his closest triumvirate. Three people whose counsel he works with, his eyes and ears, as it were, and really helping shape his agenda. This Nataraj statue looks quite stunning. And what I heard from the designers, Rajdeep, and the architects and those involved with the interiors of the Bharat Mandapam is the level of attention to detailing that came from the Prime Minister himself. In terms of the chairs, the decor, the artifacts that were put. He's very, very hands-on in these things.
The fact is, when you want to stage a grand event, turn to Prime Minister Modi. I know that, for example, the people involved in the lighting, Wizcraft, the Mumbai event management agency, is deeply involved in the lighting, and they also suggest that the Prime Minister takes a lot of interest in the micro detailing, the kind of colors for the lighting. This is one skill he has. It is seen as a positive and a negative. His critics say he spends far too much time on looking at the micro details of event management. On the positive side, they say, look, we are in an age where you need to push.
But that's a bit unfair, Asdi, because he puts in that much energy and effort into everything he does. It's just the kind of person he is, right?
You will see the opposition has consistently targeted him, saying Prime Minister Modi is an event manager and his governance fails and event management takes over. His supporters say, look, it's an intrinsic part of his overall focus on any project that he takes up. I mean, he takes up projects in what is called mission mode. So G20 has been mission mode over the last 1 year.
Is mission mode.
So in the last 11 months, he's made sure that the eye for detail on G20 is taken to another level, scaled up. The other word which is often used with those close to Prime Minister Modi is scale. You do everything on scale. So you've got an Amitabh Khan who was involved with the God's Own Country campaign in Kerala as a bureaucrat from Kerala, Incredible India as tourism secretary. So for him to be the Sherpa, he's also someone who plays a lot of attention to the packaging. G20 has been wonderfully packaged.
This is much more than just the packaging.
No, but I'm saying that's an important element.
But it needs to be the whole package, right? It can't just be one. You have to ensure that A, you have a narrative, B, you're able to project the narrative, and C, that you're able to get things done. It's all of it together. Just one of those three without the other two don't really serve any purpose.
I think the strength clearly is the packaging. The other elements, whether they fall in place, can be debated. But there is no doubt that if you purely looked at packaging, I don't think any G20 summit over the years has been packaged as effectively as what India has done. And that's huge, because it's not, usually G20 summits are at best, a couple of events that you hold before the big summit. India's done 200, I repeat, 200 events across 60 cities.
It's much more than
it's
event
incredible.
management. I don't want to get into
it's
a
quite
squabble
incredible.
with Rajdeep early in the morning. We're expecting guests to start arriving in just a moment. I'm getting a very strong conclave valley feeling, Shiv, because it's like all our anchors, editors show up early in the morning at the conclave venue. They're checking everything out before the guests start coming in. Prime Minister Modi doing a bit of a conclave tour of the Bharat Mandapam this morning. But we just received word that there will be a biofuel alliance, which will be announced at 5 p.m. That's the story we're getting this morning, where several countries are signing up to be a part of the biofuel alliance. That's the story that's breaking at this moment. We'll take you through the details. We've got Geeta Mohan with us. Paulami Saha joins us on this as well. That's the story that's breaking at this moment, this biofuel alliance, which will have 19 countries, 12 international organizations who are agreeing to join, 6 of them G20 countries, Brazil, US, South Africa, Canada, Argentina and Italy. Geeta Mohan has more details for us. Geeta, explain the significance of this biofuel alliance that India is pushing.
Well, it is a very important alliance, so to say, because the push from India, Rahul, is to transition from fossil fuel dependence to biofuel to green energy, and in that, India is indeed taking a lead. There is going to be a major conversation on that front, but also the United States of America, the G20 member states, whether if it is the 19 member states or the European Union, all of them very focused on how to shift and transition from fossil fuel to biofuel. And in that, now confirmation coming in from none other than the schedule that has been put out by the President of the United States of America's office, that there indeed is going to be a biofuel alliance meeting that is to take place today. The timing of it, again, I'll have to check on when that alliance meeting is going to take place.
It will happen
Rahul,
at 5 p.m.
This is again to take 5 p.m. right. So this is again to take forward the conversation on climate change. There are 2 parallel conversations, Rahul, that are taking place. One is the first session of the G20 summit, which is One Earth, where the major conversation will be on climate change and how to bring about a consensus in tackling climate change, also looking at developed and developing nations, and taking into accommodating the concerns of the developing nations. And now we are also looking at another meeting that will be taking place. That's the Biofuel Alliance, and that certainly is going to be a significant one that will take place around 5 p.m. after the conversation is already had on climate change issues in the first session of the G20 summit.
Biofuel is a liquid fuel produced from renewable sources, so vegetable oils, animal fats, cleaner burning replacement. Shiv, when countries like India and Brazil started pushing biofuels, a lot of people thought this is some loony idea.
Yeah.
Now, with this alliance and the kind of technological developments that we've seen, and we know that Nitin Gadkari, the transport minister, is one of the biggest advocates of biofuel, shows that it's becoming more and more central to what people think can be a clean energy transition.